This is Elisa King, and this is my final presentation. This course and interviewing assignments were quite challenging and stressful at times for me, but I feel that I gathered some valuable information on how to better myself and gain confidence as a presenter, speaker, or interviewer. The presentation that I have prepared for you today is meant to illustrate 3 important things that I learned through interviewing and why they were important to me. The things that would be included is what I learned during my interviewing experiences, how my style of interviewing reflects my strength quest inventory, and what the course material has taught me about interviewing in a professional and appropriate manner. My interviewing experience were very important to me. Throughout all the interviews, one thing was very consistent: the importance of customer service and good communication skills. They seem to be the backbone of all successful businesses. Give and take speaking was key for gathering information and adding emphasis to the interviewee's statements. It also reassured them that I was actively listening and fully engaged in the conversation. I learned about others' conflict resolution styles and the approaches that they take when dealing with employees. I learned from all my interviews that they all hated reprimanding employees. It makes people feel uncomfortable and vulnerable because of the emotions that are involved. It has made me reflect on the way that I handle certain situations and made me rethink what approaches I will take in the future. Time management was also a crucial factor that I learned while interviewing. I wouldn't say that I purposely procrastinated, but due to unforeseen personal and professional events or canceled interviews, I found that it was hard to get all my meetings lined up. In the future, I should be mindful of the schedules of others and not just my own. And I have to try harder to fit everything in a more structured schedule as effectively as I can and integrate it into my hectic life so every task or goal can get accomplished in time. Given the chance to do this assignment again, there are some things that I would do differently. First, I would try to schedule the meetings in person or using phone calls rather than using emails. I think that it is harder to ignore face-to-face interactions than to simply delete an email or pretend that you never got it in the first place. Secondly, I would plan out a better conclusion to my interviews. I stated some important information in my conclusions, but I should have asked if the interviewees had any questions for me that they had wanted asked. Or answered, sorry. I agree with how the Strength Quest evaluated my personality characteristics and can see how I implement them in my interviews and in general conversation. My inventory said that I was an empathetic listener, so I have the ability to see the world through others' eyes and share their perspective views, even though I may not agree with them. Emotional relationships or bonds with people are important to me, and I worry all the time about how others perceive me. I am more comfortable as an observer, which I think was helpful to me to gather insight to various kinds of personalities. But I find that I am more of a follower rather than an extrovert. This would affect my interviewing abilities because when acting as an interviewer, I need to lead the conversation, and there will be many instances when managing people that I will have to delegate tasks or instruct people. There are so many things that I have learned from the course material that will help me become a more effective interviewer and presenter, so it was hard for me to pinpoint certain information. I learned that the importance of my personal appearance, um, factors about like how people will perceive me, respond to me, and how they will help me to establish my credibility. I have never had the instance of where I've really had to dress professionally, so that's something different for me. Um, I learned strategies that I could use to motivate and inspire others and to help them to achieve their goals. I learned about how important body language, facial expressions, gestures, use of eye contact, body movement, and how they help to emphasize, um, convey emotion, or clarify the meaning of my messages. The tone of my voice or voice inflection can reinforce the meaning of the message that I'm trying to get across. Even though I have never had the occasion to present using visual aids, I can see why they would be important tools to use to help my audience understand my key points better. Although I didn't learn most of these points from my interviews themselves, um, and instead learn them through the course material, I think the material was important in the way that I was able to conduct the interviews and how I was able to prepare myself beforehand. I tried to take in consideration all the things that I learned throughout the course, to present myself in the most appropriate or professional way that I was able to. In conclusion, this course and interview assignments taught me many techniques to help me improve not only my interviewing skills, but also the way that I communicate with people in general. I now understand the importance to develop better communication skills if I'm going to be successful in the future. I learned more insight into how people behave or why people behave the way that they do, and gained understanding as to why I exhibit the behaviors that I do. I learned how my strengths and personality play a part in how I communicate. Overall, this experience has been very invaluable and a very teachable moment for me. It has set me up with the fundamentals of becoming a more effective communicator in the future. Thank you.